What is up, guys? Tetra is back, bringing you guys my first ever gameplay commentary of some Pokemon Black and White Wi-Fi battle. Today my opponent is going to be by the name of Iranx or Iranx or whatever the heck his name is. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. And this is my first ever battle that I actually won on Pokemon Wi-Fi. And also a quick little note before I get into the actual gameplay here. As you guys can see, I forgot to put on the movements where, like, you know, if you use a Fire Blast, it doesn't actually show the Fire Blast, because I tend to turn that off when I'm playing through Pokemon games, because it's just kind of a nuisance to me. But I did start out with an Infernape as my lead, and then I go ahead and send out my Blissey here at this point, because it can take hits like a boss. Or at least special attack hits they could take like a boss. And he does use Will-O-Wisp, but, you know, that's not really a big of a problem because I do have Natural Cure on this Blissey. And I think I'm using Aromatherapy as well. So, in any case, if any of my Pokemon do get status issues, I can go ahead and use, or toss on my Blissey and use Aromatherapy. And he does go ahead and send out his Escavalier or something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and use Seismic Toss because I think that, you know, I thought he was going to stay in with his Cofagarius. I'm not really familiar with some of the new Pokemon, to be honest. And my Bio gets hurt by the burn. I'm going to take it back because I know he's got a Mega Horn more likely than not on him. And he's just going to destroy my Blissey. So I go ahead and toss out my Fortress here. And once again, it can also take hits like a boss, because it can take attack or physical hits like crazy. And I do believe that Earthquake is also super effective, and he's going to go for the Sword Stance here, but it doesn't really do a lot of damage. And I'm also going to be looking for the Spikes here, because I did notice that before the game started, he didn't have a Starmie or a Fortress or a Sand Slash, so I do know that he does not have any kind of Spinner on his team to get rid of any kind of Spikes or Stealth Rocks that I might be throwing up, so I'm trying to put up as many Spikes as possible, or at least all 3 layers of Spikes and the Stealth Rocks, so it's pretty much going to do like half damage every time a Pokemon comes into the game, or into the battlefield rather. And they go ahead and use Earthquake a couple of times, take down the Cavalier, and now he's going to go ahead and throw his Slakoth back at me. I didn't notice if he used Trick Room. I don't think he did use Trick Room at the beginning of this game. He might have, I didn't really catch that. He's going to go for the bulk up here, and his attack and defense rises here. And go ahead and use Earthquake, thinking that I was going to do a lot of damage, but it doesn't, and the Slakoth takes it like a boss. He's going to go ahead and use Earthquake, and it doesn't really do a lot of damage. And like I said, I'm going for the Spikes again, just trying to get all 3 layers of Spikes on, because I know my Fortress can sit here and take hits like a boss all day long. And I'm going to just keep tossing the Spikes. I really don't care if my Fortress dies at this point, because I do have my Infernape and a bunch of other Pokemon, which you haven't seen yet, of course. And he's going for another bulk up. I'm surprised here. And I do go ahead and use a Gyro Ball, considering that my IVs for speed are low, but I think I'm actually a little bit faster than the Slakoth, because Slakoths are just generally slow. So my Gyro Ball doesn't really do a lot of damage. And at this point, his Slakoth is dead. There's really no point in him taking it down or taking it out of the game. So I'm going to use one last Gyro Ball and take down that Slakoth pretty easily, although he does do a lot of damage to my Fortress. But surprisingly, right here, when he does send out this turtle-looking Pokemon, which I don't know the name for it, surprisingly, the Fortress takes hits pretty well against this thing. I really don't know why he's waiting for an Aqua Jet. I mean, I think he's got Earthquake on him, which could be do a lot more damage. But because of the Aqua Jet, it barely does any damage, and the leftovers gives me pretty much all my health back that I had before the Pokemon came in the match. And uses Aqua Jet again. And I was actually thinking that my Earthquake was going to take down the Pokemon here, but it does not. And I think he finally wises up, and there he goes. He uses Earthquake at this point, and it does take down my Fortress. But nonetheless, his Pokemon is at red health, or actually it's at yellow health because he has leftovers, obviously. And go ahead and toss out my Shiamin, and I think I'm going to Seed Flame or Earth Power. Yeah, I think I went for an Earth Power, just thinking that if in case he decides to switch out to some kind of Pokemon, like a Fire type or something for some obscure reason, I can go ahead and take it down with Earth Power or do a considerable amount of damage. And he goes and sends out his Zapdos here. It is exerting pressure, and I actually didn't know what pressure did until I asked a friend of mine, and he told me about it. And here we go. Here goes NBZ, which is my Kingdra. And I think I'm going to go for the sub, kind of just to scout out what he's going to do. And I did anticipate the Heat Wave. Most people carry a Heat Wave on the Zapdos. You know, it's kind of unlikely that you see it. Or, you know, people might think it's unlikely, but people do carry Heat Wave on the Zapdos. I go ahead and put down a sub just to see what I can, or to scout out what he's going to use. And he does go for a Thunderbolt. So my sub does fade away, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my Kingdra back, just leave it in my pocket, and go ahead and send out my Blissey, because this thing, once again, can take hits like a boss from the Zapdos. I mean, I think I'm going to, what am I going to go for at this point? I think he's actually going to switch out. I think I'm going to go for a, what am I going to, yeah, he's going to go for a Bronzong here at this point. I think I used Thunder Wave to try and paralyze him. But for some reason, every time I use Thunder Wave, my opponent never gets paralyzed. I mean, well, he gets paralyzed, but he always gets to attack me. I really don't understand why. But I guess I'm just, cursed with the Toxic and Burns and Paralyze never actually do a lot of damage. So knowing the Fire Blast can do a lot of damage against this Bronzong, I go ahead and take out my Infernape here, and he does throw a Gyro Ball my way, but doesn't really do a lot of damage, and I am going to outspeed his Bronzong, and I was actually really surprised that the Fire Blast did not kill him. And he does go for another Gyro Ball. It doesn't kill my Infernape once again. It's not very effective, but because he's slower than me, it does do a ton of damage. I was actually anticipating, Switcher, but I went for a Fire Blast anyway, just to be on the safe side. And he doesn't, and he does not switch at this point. And I think his final Pokemon at this point is gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be a Zapdos. I mean, no, it's not a Zapdos, actually. He still got his Cofagarius. I completely forgot about that. But, because I do have the Spikes and the Stealth Rocks up, he does take tons of damage, and I think my Fire Blast is going to take this puppy down. Yes, it does. And now he's got only a Zapdos left, and he's going to toss out the Zapdos, and it's pretty much game over at this point. I do have a Gengar, a Kingdra, an Infernape, and a Blissey, and I believe I still have my Shyman at this point, so it is game over for this guy. He can probably stall if he has Roost, but I don't think he does. I don't think he has Roost at this point, so I'm not sure if he's going to try to just stall and try to Thunderbolt my team out, but, he's going to run out of PP eventually, so he won't be able to do a lot, and I'll just go ahead and throw out my Blissey here just to end the game, because I know my Blissey can take all the Thunderbolts that he hits at me. I mean, I probably could have taken or tossed out my Gengar and just went on the offensive side, as opposed to just, sitting here and seismic tossing the living daylights out of him. But, I was like, Blissey is not really a Pokemon that wins it for you, and I was like, give my Blissey an overconfidence boost. So go ahead and throw out my Blissey here, and that's pretty much game for this guy. I mean, like I said, the Paralyze, it never really works. I mean, as you can see at the top left corner, he is paralyzed, but he's not gonna get fully paralyzed to where he can attack me. I don't know why. It's just like a curse. Oh, wait. Oh, I get paralyzed. Yeah, wow, that's gay. That's really stupid. I think that's what actually prolongs the match a little bit more than it should, because I get paralyzed a couple of times, and I think that's going to be showing up here. But anyway, guys, the match is pretty much over. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope, the quality is okay, because I am using camera. I will be getting proper equipment to get a top-notch quality in a couple of weeks. I did order it over the weekend, but considering that banks are not open over the weekend, my money could not get transferred to the company, so I have to wait until tomorrow for them to actually start the whole shipment process. And yeah, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this commentary. I'm not really familiar with a lot of things on Pokemon. I'm trying to learn, trying to get better and stuff. And until I get my actual real equipment for doing proper multiplayer commentaries, I don't think I'm going to be doing any commentaries from Machinima Realm for multiplayer battles, that is. So I'm going to keep it to my channel, and then once I get the equipment, I will be putting up more on Machinima Realm. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the match. Iranix gets defeated. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace, guys.